From the great city of Bartlett, Tennessee, the State of the City Address, starring Mayor David Parsons. Tonight's guests include Dr. Sherwin Stewart with St. Francis Hospital Bartlett, Dr. David Stevens with Bartlett City Schools, Carrie Vaughn with the YMCA, and many other prominent community partners. We would also like to thank tonight's sponsors, St. Francis Hospital Bartlett, the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce, and a big shout out to Production One for all the technical support. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Mayor Parsons.
We're going to have fun tonight, folks. It's a great honor to stand before you today as we look forward to an exciting future for the city of Bartlett. As we reflect over the accomplishments that we made and the challenges that lay ahead, I am filled with optimism that we together can achieve the future. Bartlett is on the right track, an exciting track, and thanks to you all, I would like to also take a moment to recognize some of our special guests this evening. So please stand when I call your name, and if I missed your name, please let me know. At first, my right-hand guy, the city CEO, Mr. Steve Soames. He's hid back here. He's not out there with you. He's where he always is. He's always behind the scenes working hard. And right here in position number one, we got Mr. Brad King, our Bartlett Alderman. You guys lined up in order almost there. In position number two, Alderman Robert Griffin. In position three, Alderman David Reeves. And our Alderwoman, Monique Williams. This next young man, we call him Vice Mayor Jack Young. And in position number six, Alderman Kevin Quinn. Judge Tim Francavilla, I hear you're in the crowd. Please stand. There you go, stand up. You already know David Stevens is here, but he's in the back, and he'll stand for us in the back room back there. And from our school board, Miss Shirley Jackson. And I think I saw Commissioner Mick Wright somewhere. Where you at? There he is, right there. So I want to thank all of our special guests for being here, and I want to say a special thank to Commissioner Wright, who has always been prompt in helping us with some aid from the county, and he's been very good to us. A lot of the benefits that we have come from Mick Wright and from the county. I want to say thank you. So moving on to this evening, we're going to highlight various topics, including public schools, public safety, community initiatives, economic development, health care, and public-private partnerships. This program is meant to be informal but enlightening, not boring but fun. So I hope you leave here excited about Bartlett's future as we do every day when we come to work. This is our hometown, and together we will make this the best place for everyone to be. We began this journey 2 years ago by examining the core parts that drive this community we live in. This effort has led to the development of the Bartlett Vision 2030 plan. It's our guiding roadmap created with citizen input and their needs and with the dedication of our city directors and our elected officials. I'd like to also extend my gratitude to the University of Memphis for their partnership in helping us get a lot of that data together. You might be wondering, what makes this plan so special? It's not just a document that we're going to put on a shelf. It's dynamic, it's transparent, and most importantly, it's accountable. Through our Vision 2030 dashboard on the city's website, which you all can see, you can track the progress in real time and know exactly where we stand on various initiatives, whether it's paving roads, enhancing public safety, or improving our local economy. There's no surprises here, folks. We aim to be as transparent as possible. One of the key pillars to the Vision 2030 plan is economic vitality. We are focused on advancing the financial well-being of this Bartlett community, and we're doing it with purpose. Bartlett has never been a place where we sit back and wait for success. For the last 2 years, we have been actively promoting growth, supporting business, providing an environment where our local entrepreneurs can thrive. In fact, in this past year, we've got 10 new restaurants opened. And already in 2025, we have at least 12 more new restaurants planned. And of course, you can't have growth without a strong infrastructure. We're not just improving our sewer system, we are building a foundation for future generations. The issues with the Fletcher Creek sewer basin were all it was talked about when we first came into office. And today, I am proud to announce that we have a solution. And not only do we have a solution, we're also working right now to resolve those issues with the support of Memphis Mayor Paul Young. We cannot overlook, thank you. We cannot overlook the heart and soul of any thriving community, its employees. A vibrant workforce that we have here is critical to our continued success in Bartlett. We are diligently working to attract, to retain, develop the very best talent for our city of Bartlett. In fact, can you give a round of applause for all of our city employees? While our workforce is essential, so too is our commitment to public safety and the well-being of every resident. We are continually investing in health, public safety, and to ensure you feel secure, whether it's at home or in one of our 29 parks. Yes, I said 29 parks. If it's not in one of our 29 parks, it may be just at one of our nearly 300 community events that was held here last year. We understand that a strong, safe community is one where people feel connected and they feel supported. So just as a reminder, Bartlett, we have your back. Speaking of connection, we will also focus on community engagement. Community engagement is big in Bartlett. And at the heart of this plan is the belief that a city survives and thrives when its citizens are actively engaged and involved. And one of the things that makes Bartlett truly special is the engagement of its people. Last summer, many of you may remember that there's a little young man that we recognized in a board meeting. His name was Jack Phelps. This young man was 13 years old, driving his little bicycle on his way home, and heard an individual in the pond hollering, "Help, help, I'm drowning." 13 years old on a bicycle. What would you have done? What Jack did is he stopped and said, "Do I go tell my mama? Do I call the police? Oops, I ain't got a phone." So he got off his bicycle, ran down to the pond, took that drowning 2-year-old out of the pond, and he's alive today. And that's the heart and soul of a Bartlett. We can say a lot of things, but when your 13-year-olds are saving a life, that really means something. So, great shout out to Mr. Jack Phelps there. You know, whether it's Bartlett Live, the Bartlett Christmas Parade, or even just a simple conversation during a coffee with a cop, your participation makes all of the difference. And if you hadn't been to a coffee and a cop, just look on Facebook and there'll be another opportunity coming along. All Coffee with a Cop is for our community to engage with our police force, and you understand the man behind the badge. So if you've not been to a coffee with a cop, you'll get to meet our chief and all the top executives for our police department that make it run efficiently day in, day out. Please take an opportunity and join them at the next Coffee with a Cop. And as you look inside everything that we have to offer as a city of Bartlett, I think you'll come to the understanding that how we're blending advancement and the beauty of small town living. Bartlett is a place where neighbors become friends, and our community is stronger because we all work together. So without further ado, Jim, let's get the show started.
Mayor, please join me in welcoming our first two guests, the CEO of St. Francis Bartlett, Dr. Sherwin Stewart, and the president of the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce, John Threadgill.
Good evening, John.
Hey, Mayor.
Have a seat, guys.
Mayor, I think you have outdone yourself.
Well,
Your own talk show.
a new version of Bartlett Live. Well, Dr. Stewart, tell us a little bit about your experience in the healthcare leadership at St. Francis.
Sure, we have been blessed to serve with St. Francis Health for the last year. Prior to that, we came from the Centera Health System in Norfolk, Virginia. Prior to that, we were down the road in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where we served with Erlanger Health System, and we got our start at Central Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson, Mississippi.
Wow. Can you fill us in on the mission and values for St. Francis?
Absolutely, absolutely. Our mission, as stated, to provide quality, compassionate care in the communities we serve. Now, that's the formal definition, but when we talk with our team, it's about being Bartlett's community hospital. That is who we are, that is what we do, and that is what we serve every day.
Amen. As a community, what should we know about the services that St. Francis provides?
Well, St. Francis, we provide 24/7 emergency care services, our emergency department. We offer 24/7 comprehensive cardiovascular services. We also provide radiology and medical imaging services. We have surgical and procedural and robotic surgeries. We have outpatient rehab as well as outpatient imaging.
Wow, pretty outstanding. I think I was talking with Chief Gately the other day, and I think he said that about 80-something% of the calls are medical related, and about 70% of those calls are transported to St. Francis out there. So it really means a lot to have our own community hospital here in Bartlett. And so we're really thankful for your leadership, and thank you for all that St. Francis means to our community. And so while we talk about that, we close up. Maybe you want to give us some idea what's in the future for St. Francis.
Absolutely. Before I tell you about what's in the future for St. Francis, I want to say thank you to the partnership with the city. Our relationship with your police department, with your fire department is second to none. We are on a first name basis, and we can contact each other at any time. And that's super valuable to this community. I will tell you, we have had a banner year at St. Francis Bartlett in 2024. 2024, we were blessed to serve more patients than we have ever served in the 20-year history. You came over and helped us celebrate our 20-year anniversary this year. But more germane to your question, moving forward, we're going to engage and shore up our workforce. We recognize that there is a need to hire and retain professionals, nurses, technicians, surgeons, individuals who will come into the Bartlett community and stay in the Bartlett community. We're going to be pushing forward our orthopedic services. Many of you have talked to me about our women's services, so we're going to be pushing our women's services forward as well. More important than anything, we're going to make sure that we hold true to our values of care, that value of compassion, that value of acting, the value of being results-driven and embracing this community.
Wow. You know, Sharon, I can remember the ribbon cutting when we opened that, and I know probably many of y'all was at that ribbon cutting. It was just a special moment, and it'll always have a soft spot in my heart. And thank you, 20 years later. So, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce and what is the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, Mayor, the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce is a independent, private membership organization with about 600 businesses that represent a broad array of companies in the Bartlett area, from mom and pops to international enterprises. And they all come together with one primary purpose, and that is to make Bartlett bigger and better.
Pretty good. What are the primary economic development drivers, and what kind of economic activity are we currently experiencing in Bartlett?
We're very fortunate because Bartlett has a well-balanced economy. We are not dependent on any one or two sectors. We have a very broad spectrum as far as businesses in this community. Recently assessed we did a survey back about a year or so ago to determine exactly how much impact Bartlett has on the economy here in Shelby County. And we brought together all these suburban chambers of commerce to be a part of this study. And the result was that suburban Shelby County generates about $16 billion a year to this economy, local, the MSA economy. But Bartlett makes up roughly 50% of that $16 billion at about $8 billion. So Bartlett is by far the largest economic engine for suburban Shelby County. And as you know, Mayor, we are the epicenter for the medical device industry here in the Memphis area, and for Tennessee for that matter. We have a strong concentration of medical device manufacturers in the area. And as you also know, if the economy is doing well, then you are attracting retail and you're attracting professionals into the economy. So we have a lot of activity we're seeing in the restaurant area. I think a lot of people, most everybody here knows about Lopez Grill and Ragin' Cajun that has just recently opened up in Bartlett Station. They're doing extremely well. Every time I drive by that place, they are packed. And then let's not forget Union Depot. Union Depot is Bartlett's first mixed-use development. It is Bartlett's largest private development, with over $200 million invested in that. And we're going to see about 2,000 new residents in Bartlett because of that development.
Wow. Now, I don't want to run past this, but did I hear you correctly when you said that the GRP for the county was about $16 million, and Bartlett made up more than all of the surrounding communities collectively? Bartlett did?
You heard me correctly, buddy.
Wow. Wow. So are we seeing any industrial prospects because of everybody talks about Blue Oval City? We seeing any prospects concerning Blue Oval City and anything going on with Innovation Park?
Well, Blue Oval City, as everyone can imagine, it was a big plus for the region. And, I go back a number of years in economic development, and you always want an automotive plant somewhere in your region. And we finally got one. And yes, we've seen a lot of activity. We have seen a lot of inquiries, and billion-dollar projects, Mayor, have come our way. Now, with that said, a lot of these suppliers that are going to be supplying Ford, they are very, very demanding as far as what they want. And be quite honest, Shelby County is really not ready for a lot of these suppliers because we don't have the real estate in hand. Now, with that said, Mayor, your administration recognized that back when you first came on board, and now Bartlett has one of the largest industrial parks. It's not quite ready yet. There's still a lot of things that need to be done, but we're sitting on 200 acres of prime real estate that will be able to accommodate suppliers and anybody else that comes into the area with Bartlett Innovation Park on the western side of the city. So my hat's off to you and your administration, Mayor, for pulling that off.
Thank you, John. And the city's been a little selective about that. They're really not looking for warehouse space. They're looking for.
No, Bartlett is not. We're not. If those of you who are familiar with Southeast Shelby County, down around the airport and off of Lamar and Shelby Drive and all that, that's not what Bartlett needs to become. We don't want to become a warehouse city. We want to become very selective. We want value added. We want high paying jobs, and that's what we're looking for.
Good. So when we talk about the region around here, how does Bartlett compare with other cities on industrial property around the region? You mentioned that just a minute ago.
Well, the big talk in Washington and across the country is a reindustrialization of America. And I think we all really want to see that, but most people don't really know what's involved in that, Mayor. And we're not ready for it. This country is not ready for it for a lot of different reasons. The communities that are going to be ahead of the curve and are going to win out in this new venture are going to be those communities that are proactive. And I can honestly say that Bartlett is one of those proactive communities.
Well, Dr. Sherwin and John, we sure appreciate y'all coming up and spending a little time with us tonight and sharing your thoughts. Can we give a big round for John?
Mayor, next up is my boss, Bartlett City Schools Superintendent, Dr. David Stevens.
Thank you, David. Good to see you. Got a big smile on your face there, Dave.
Yeah, I got some breaking news, Mayor.
Oh, well, we're good for that.
The Bartlett Lady Panthers won their game this afternoon state tournament. They beat Oak Ridge, and now they're in the Final Four, so they play tomorrow night and hopefully Saturday night. And it would really be great to bring that gold ball back to Bartlett. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. Congratulations to the Lady Panthers.
All we can say is go Panthers. Bartlett City Schools continues to be an academic leader in excellence. And what are some of the key initiatives, David, that helped our students and our schools achieve success?
You know, when you look at Bartlett schools, we're probably the 18th largest school district in the state, 11 schools, 9,000 students. But the thing we did when we started the district 11 years ago was we really focused in on our people. Mm-hmm. And we said to be successful, we have to build on a strong foundation. And that foundation consisted of 4 things. And the very first thing was we got to have a great teacher in front of every student in the classroom. We know that interaction between that teacher and that student is the most important thing. To keep good teachers, we have to have great principals and assistant principals in our building. So that's the second pillar of that. The third pillar is our school board. I see Ms. Jackson down here on the front row, and our district staff. Our job as school board members, superintendents, district staff is to make sure those folks in those buildings have what they need, that we're supporting them. And the one to me over the years that has always thought was going to be the hardest, but in fact it's been the easiest, is an engaged community. And in Bartlett, our community is so engaged in our school system and in our school district. It's just an amazing time, an amazing place to be. So we built that foundation, and now we say, okay, how can we be successful? Our ACT scores have increased every year. We've done a lot of work on ACT. We've also looked at just not college ready with advanced placement, dual enrollment where kids are getting credit at University of Memphis or Southwest and Bartlett. For those college-bound students, but also our career technical students, where we have advanced manufacturing, we have health sciences, we have mechatronics getting us ready, and that's pneumatics, all the assembly line type of activities that we're able to teach our kids. So we're getting them exposed. We've also had a very big emphasis in our elementaries on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And we also want to make sure that we don't forget about the arts. We say it's the 3 A's, academics first, athletics, and arts. So we really focus on those 3. We've built that good foundation, and it's just an exciting time to be in Bartlett.
Amen to that. We're just thankful for everybody that had played a part in the leadership that allowed us to have our own city schools. And it's hard to believe it's been 11 years ago? 11 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Oh, it definitely flies.
Time flies. So you've done a lot of this, David, already kind of shared some of it, but can you share how Bartlett City Schools have worked to support the student learning? I think you've already probably touched on some of those, but is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think some of the things that we've done is we give our students opportunities. Our good friends at St. Francis, we have our nursing students that are in health sciences. They're out doing internships at St. Francis. Really, we have a neat new piece of equipment. Ms. Jackson was there a month or so ago. We had it's an anatomy table. It's a image right here. They can look at a human body and as far as anatomy, really preparing those students. We got the West Tennessee Workforce Collaborative, where we're working with Collierville schools, Germantown schools, and Bartlett schools, where we're giving our students opportunities for internships, externships. We really want to focus on all aspects of our students. We really want to make sure that we're putting the best people in front of our students and having very high standards. And it's been, like you said, Mayor, you think about it, 11 years ago, there were a lot of people that thought we couldn't keep the doors open for 2 years. And I'm excited to say we've been able to keep the doors open and build a good surplus. So as we look at our facilities and look at buildings, we're not going to be having to come to the city and ask for those dollars, that we're able to do that internally. So I'm really proud of the work of everyone involved, the great partnerships we have with the city. All the things a lot of people may not know, our crossing guards. You look at our beautiful grounds. If you've driven by Bond Lynn over on Germantown Parkway, how that looks, that's our city partnership that we have. So it's a lot of great things are happening, and we are really proud of the work that we've done and looking forward to what's next.
Strong partnerships between the school district, the city, and local businesses play a big role as a student. And how have these collaborations between local businesses and the city help shape the opportunities for our students and our educators?
The one I really want to touch on a little bit more is the West Tennessee Workforce Collaborative. What we have now is we have an app, and it's kind of like LinkedIn. So it's where our students in our advanced manufacturing, and we've started it with our health sciences, they're partnering, those teachers are partnering with industry partners, where if they're having a problem in a machining class, CNC machining class, they can go to the app and they can ask the owner or one of the engineers or the machinist at one of the local companies that are partnering with us to come in and help them. They can do it through Zoom or Skype. Also, they can be able to ask questions. And a great thing is we'll have a job board where kids can go, businesses that have openings for these kids in these fields in the summertime to go get these jobs, and also training of our instructors, because that's the thing that's really hard, is when you have a machinist who's going to make a really, really good salary, to be able to find those people that are going to come back in and teach. So what we've done is we've taken some of our teachers and retrained them, and they've put a lot of emphasis on learning that, going to TCAT, and the great partnership with TCAT. We have kids that are getting their industry credentials. They're getting credit through TCAT. They're walking straight out of Bartlett High School. They're getting a job and continuing their education, and they're getting that through TCAT. Through the Hope Lottery Scholarship. They're having zero debt, and they're making really good money. And the hope is that those kids, as they work here in Bartlett, they'll plant roots here in Bartlett, they'll raise a family in Bartlett, and then, Mayor, in a few years when I'm a little bit older, they'll be taking care of some of us older folks here in Bartlett. So that's what we want to see.
And so, did I hear you say that if there's a young individual in Bartlett High School that think they may want to go into nursing, they can do an internship out at St. Francis Bartlett?
That is correct, yes.
And, how amazing is that? And all of these initiatives that you're doing is just reducing that window of debt, time, and getting them the opportunity to get into job placement.
And one thing we've done with our elementary kids is we're exposing these kids to different types of technology. It's a program through YZ. If you remember, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak developed the Apple computer. Well, YZ has kits, and what it does is it puts our kids, and it gives them an exposure in elementary into middle school. Before they get to high school, they'll know. So it's cybersecurity, it's coding, it's drones, all of those type of things that they're getting exposed to through those elementary years. So when they do look up and they're a sophomore in high school and they say, I think I really want to get into cybersecurity, but they really don't know what it is, they get in there for a year or two and go, this wasn't for me, or health sciences. So being able to get out and see, hey, this is really for me and something that I want to explore. So we want to give our students those opportunities, and we think it's really important.
Well, Dr. Steve, I want to say thank you that one of the things that we as a city started is we started an internship program 2 years ago. And we've had several individuals. We had 2 individuals over in our city shop. One was with the fire department, one was with the codes department, one was engineering department. So what we're trying to do here in Bartlett is make sure one of the ways that we succeed is we make a way for our kids to get the best education in our high schools that prepares them to go whatever path they want to go. But not only that, there's a technical path that they can follow and get employment relatively quick with no debt and get a job here in Bartlett. Innovation Park, at the root of everything we try to do with Innovation Park out there is to provide those new jobs for our children to come into. So guess what? When they get employed out there, grandparent, mom and dad, you don't have to drive 300 miles to another city to see your kids. And so I think if you're going to see a city that's really thriving and that is strong, it has a city that has all those opportunities where our kids want to stay in their hometown and be hometown proud, work here, get a job here, and buy a home and plant the roots of our grandchildren here in this city. David? Little boy there's flagging me, but I can't help but say it. So share just a second. What's exciting or what new initiatives are on the horizon for Bartlett City Schools?
Yeah, we got one thing we're looking at is a couple of our elementary schools are kind of older and dated. We're looking at doing some updates and renovations there. We've been able to be very frugal and save some money and put that back, so we're starting that process. We're also looking to increase and look at our career technical offerings and adjust as the market adjusts, but to still focus in on our college students. You know, when you come to graduation in May, Mayor, you'll hear that number of how many millions of dollars of scholarships that our students have received. So we want to make it's not an either or, it's a both and, because we want to make sure that every student that leaves Bartlett is prepared. And as I say, Mayor, you know, I've been doing this for 38 years in education, and I tell you, the 11 years that I've been in Bartlett has been the greatest time of my entire career. And I tell people all the time, Mayor, there is no place I would rather be.
David, it shows in your face. So can we give an applause for our superintendent and our school board? Thank you. Jim, tell us who's up next.
Coming up next, Mr. Mayor, we have the director for the Bartlett Public Library, Felicia Knox, and representing the YMCA, Carrie Vaughn.
Hey, Miss Felicia. Hi. Ain't she looking sharp? Carrie Vaughn. Miss Felicia, tell me what's new and what's happening at the Bartlett Library.
Oh my goodness, all right. Well, the first thing I can tell you is that you're going to see a brand new staff in the Bartlett Library. And when I tell you, they come in every day ready, prepared, eager to tackle every new challenge that we get. You'll also see some different shelving. We're doing some re-shelving of some of the areas to make a cleaner look. You're going to see some new things in our teen room. We've got a new television in the teen room. We've got a Nintendo Switch in there for the teens. School supplies, we get plenty of children from Bartlett High that come at the end of the day, so there's no excuse for them not to do their homework. If they don't have a pencil or paper, we got it for them. You will also see in our children's areas new all computers that have over 1,000 enrichment activities already preloaded for them. We've got new manipulatives, new furniture, lots of things for our children to enjoy when they come in for programming.
Pretty amazing. Miss Felicia, how do you plan to draw people into the library?
Well, I think the first thing is we want the community to know that we're excited to be in Bartlett and to finally be a part of the city of Bartlett. So before I can get you in the doors, I want to come to you. You'll see us in almost every Bartlett City school in some way, shape, or form. At the beginning of the school year, we stood there during the month of August and gave every Bartlett High School child their library card. You'll see us at some of the upcoming events like Bartlett Fall Fest. You'll see us out with the Rover. We've implemented a plan with all of our senior centers to go to them once a month and let them come to us once a month for programming. So we want to get out in the public and let you know who we are. And we're also planning some exciting and engaging programming for adults and youth services to get them through the doors. And we're taking patron suggestions for books and materials so that we can get what you want on the shelves.
Wow. What programs do you have coming up that we can look forward to, Ms. Felicia?
All right, now, April 3rd through the 5th, you're going to come to our annual Friends of the Library book sale that will be right next door to the library at Bartlett Venue. Come buy your books and support the Friends. The Friends support us, so they give us money for programming. You're going to come buy those books. April 19th, we're having our very first Bartlett Book Bonanza, where we have over 30 local authors coming to sell their books that will eventually get onto the library shelves. They're also going to be helping people who want to become writers themselves and talk them through that process. At the end of May, we'll have an end of the school year bash that we're partnering with Parks and Recs on. We'll have bouncy houses, food trucks, face painting, activities for the kids. That's also going to kick off our summer reading program, which will start in June, where we're going to have some exciting summer programs for adults and kids, along with prizes to give for reading incentives. And at the beginning of August, we have coming up our Back to School Bash, again, another partner with Parks and Recs to get students excited about attending school. And last but most importantly, we are about to start our very first strategic planning process, where we will work with a company to align with the strategic plan for the city of Bartlett so that we can determine next steps and our future goals for where we'd like to go.
Wow. You know, Miss Felicia, I was in the grocery store the other day, and I had a veteran come up to me, and he said, Mayor, I just want to thank you for making the veteran services available here at the Bartlett Library. I no longer have to go downtown or outside my city. Can you share a little bit about what we're doing for the veterans?
Every Tuesday and Wednesday, we have veteran services from Shelby County come to the Bartlett Library, where they will help any veteran that comes on site with any questions that they have. As a daughter of a veteran, my father served in Vietnam and Desert Storm. I'm very happy and proud to offer this service. I know working with him in the last few months of his life, how difficult it was for him to get someone on the phone, to get the paperwork completed. So we're very happy to provide that service for people to come to Bartlett Library and have that one-on-one personalized experience and someone that you can definitely reach when you need to.
I just want to throw a shout out to Commissioner Amber Mills and Commissioner Mick Wright. They was instrumental in making sure that happened. And so for all the veterans that may be out there and watching, we owe you a deep gratitude, and we're thankful for our veterans, and we're doing what we can for you. Last thing, Ms. Felicia, is there anything you'd like to say about your staff and the employees that you have in the library?
We are just so happy to be a part of the city of Bartlett. This is one of the best experiences of my career. I can tell you that any person that we've talked to in any department has a gusto and a vitality for serving this community. It doesn't matter who I talk to. I went to the police station and we were talking about, all of the support that they provide. Within 30 minutes of me going back to my office, they had contacted someone from Lakeside to come and talk to my staff about how to deal with patrons who may have mental health issues. I mean, it's that kind of response. So everyone in this city works to provide a service and make sure that everyone gets what they need when they need it. And that has been a pleasure to work with everyone.
Good deal. Thank you, Felicia. So, go move over to Mr. Kerry Vaughn, who's on the board of the YMCA Bartlett Rec Center. And I know the Bartlett YMCA had a grand opening, Kerry, in January. Can you tell us a little bit about the renovations that took place in January?
I can, absolutely. I'd be remiss if I didn't first and foremost say what a great partnership it's been with the city of Bartlett, with the mayor, board of aldermen, the staff in the back that I was clowning around with a few moments ago, and the residents. This model has been just in the 20 years that I've been a volunteer and a board member, I've never seen any type of collaboration like we've seen right here in Bartlett, Tennessee. So a big thank you to you, and we're just getting started. So, Mayor, to answer your question, it's so good I had to jot all this down. So are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Okay, here we go. To date, the YMCA has invested close to $1 million in this facility. It's a beautiful center. I would encourage you to go by there and take a look, take a tour, work out, whatever you like to do. But state-of-the-art cardio equipment, in-screen entertainment. You can watch your favorite TV show, a Netflix movie, whatever, as you're working out. Brand new equipment in the weight room. That's very important. If you're working out on a regular basis, you want new equipment. You want the latest and greatest. Converted the racquetball courts into a new innovative Power 40 studio, which has the highest attendance group exercise class in the entire association.
Wow.
And so they are flooded with people. That studio allows us to operate up to 5 group exercise classes at one time. So that's the key to that. So if you can imagine that it's been remodeled, the whole upstairs area, to create a a dedicated workspace for the senior adults. We remodeled the lobby to have more of an open, spacious environment. New painting, lighting, floors, you name it. It's an ongoing process.
Wow.
Yep.
So I know our people are using this great asset here, and can you give us kind of an update of, so the renovations are complete, kind of where we are today with, and I heard some great numbers about our membership. I think we, when I was talking just one day this week, that we are now the largest YMCA in the region.
That's
We
correct.
surpassed
That's true.
Olive Branch, and
That's
so you
true.
want to share anything about the
Yeah,
center?
Yeah. And let me say this before I give the numbers. So the YMCA of Memphis and the Mid-South, when I first got on the board 20 years ago, was pretty much Memphis Metro. Now when we say the YMCA of the Mid-South, we're talking from Dyersburg, Tennessee, all the way down to Oxford, Mississippi.
Wow.
And then the Shelby County corridor, all the way to Olive Branch, and then all the way north to Millington. And so what we've seen when the center was the rec center, it had 2,300 units. To date, 3,125. 48,000 people have scanned into the center since January.
Wow. Wow.
So think about that. 48,000 people have been in the center. They've scanned in the center since January. 656 new sales this year to date. I think when it was the rec center, it was probably around 300. To date, 656. Over 5,300 people have participated in these group exercises we were talking about. Now, here's the number I really like. Over 800 children were checked into Y Play while their parents used the center.
Wow.
So if I can pause for a moment, 800 children, it kind of goes back to what Dr. Stevens was saying. Can you think for a moment, 800 children coming in and through the YMCA, that is future workforce. Those are the future leaders of tomorrow that will stay in Bartlett. They can go from the YMCA to the high school, to TCAT, to the job opportunities that Threadgill talked about with the Medical Device Society. All that can happen without leaving Bartlett, Tennessee. So I get excited when I see 800 children were coming through the center. We play a key part, and we say this all the time with the YMCA. You have your first home, which many of us will go to tonight, hopefully lay our heads down and get ready for tomorrow. That's home. Our second home is the workplace. We spend a ton of time at the job site, do we not? We want the third home to be the YMCA. And so if you can think just for a moment, Bartlett, Tennessee, the third home for all of our families is the YMCA. And through that, we can meet a need physically. We can meet a need spiritually. And every one of our Ys, there's a church that is being hosted on Sundays, Sunday mornings. So we're meeting a need spiritually, we're meeting a need physically, we're meeting a need professionally, all across the board, happening right here in the backyard of Bartlett. So I'm really excited, and we want people to call the YMCA here in Bartlett their third home.
Carrie, I don't really know what to say other than what Johnny Carson would say. Wow, you don't say. And so we're excited about the partnership with the Y. Can you tell us what's next for the center and what the residents can be looking forward to in the future?
Well, again, I just tip my hat to the city and to the city leadership. And the alderman here on the front row, Steve, has been a big part of many discussions that we've had. I think this has become for us at the YMCA, and again, I'm just a volunteer, but it's become for us a model across the country. People want to come to Memphis to check out two things. They want to come to Goodlet Farms to see the feeding program of the YMCA. So just FYI, the YMCA, in addition to just gym and swim, the number one child care provider in the state of Tennessee. The number one child care provider in the nation, really. Secondly, the number one instruction for swim in the state of Tennessee, the YMCA. But when COVID hit, the Y pivoted and started feeding the students. They started having virtual learning. Child care became very prevalent. And so people are coming around the country to check out the corporate office of Goodlet Farms. But Mayor, they're also coming to take a look at the center in Bartlett, Tennessee. So it's becoming a model for us as we go forward. So here's the last thing. We focused on the inside, all the renovation, all the facelift. Now the last thing is the outdoor pool, the water playground, the cabanas, water slides, food service, yard games, music, and much, much more.
Wow, sounds exciting. All I can say, thank you, Felicia, and thank you, Carrie, for sharing. And wasn't they awesome tonight?
We get any parting gifts?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in the back, waiting on you.
Joining us now, Mr. Mayor, are Police Chief Jeff Cox and Fire Chief Tommy Gately.
Doing great.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
This is what you call top brass, folks.
Yes, sir.
Oh, me.
How's it going tonight?
It's going good. It's going good, Jeff.
That's a good-looking crowd.
You know, a lot of folks around here wondering, Jeff, how long you been around here in the police department?
36 years, Mayor.
36 years.
I didn't look that old, do I?
I'm not going to comment. Chief, can you please tell us some of the important stats and stuff on property crimes and where Bartlett is on the Bartlett Crime Index?
You know, Mayor, we had a pretty good year. You know, property crimes are down 30% from last year. Crimes against persons are down 42%.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And our overall crime offenses are down 24%. That's huge, Mayor. When you look, yes, sir. That's really big. And I can't take the credit for that. You know, you try to find out why that happens. Well, number one thing is the police department. It's the men and women in these uniforms that go out every day, and they say, hey, I'll stand that line. I'll make a commitment to be proactive. And hey, you got a great police department. The guys and girls come and work and they've made that commitment to take ownership in our city, and they say we'll do it, and that's what they do, you know.
So we got a lot to be thankful for those guys that put on the uniform, and we hear every so often somebody says, I just don't think they're doing enough about crime, and I don't think things are moving forward. But from what I'm hearing from you, Jeff, proof's in the numbers.
That's right.
Proof's in the data, and so we're thankful for that. So, you know, again, in Kroger's store, people are always ask and say, hey, what's going on down there? Y'all building some more jails? You putting a mechanic shop? What's going on down there? So tell us what's going on behind the police station.
Hey, we're very proud. You've been over to the Justice Center across the street. On the north side of our police department is a new building. It's our new Bartlett Communications Center. It's a state-of-the-art building. It's funded by our 911 dollars. Last year we were able to get a grant through the 911, Shelby County 911. It's an 8,500 square foot dispatch center. Our dispatch is going to be in there. They're going to run calls for fire, EMS, and police. And not only is it going to be a dispatch center, we're going to have a training center in there for our employees, a nice kitchen, break room, and it's going to be our center for any kind of disaster. That's where our center is going to be for our communications and for our command center.
So if it has a light on it, it shows up at your house, call the director there is coming from this building.
That's right.
And so by moving into a larger building out of the cramped quarters that we're in, that means that the citizens will get more people answering the phones to handle these 911 calls.
That's exactly right. This building is going to be able to have, instead of the cramped space that we have inside our jail where we have 4, we're going to be able to have 7 dispatchers stations there. And it's going to be where they're going to have more space, more phones, more computers, and we're going to be able to have better services. And so, hey, we're looking to be able to retain more dispatchers, hire more dispatchers. So if you're interested in being a dispatcher, go to the website and put your application in.
Man, I thought it's Chief carried me through there the other day, and have you ever seen those movies that you see somewhere like in New York City or these big command centers, got TVs everywhere? I mean, it looks like something that you would own a little city like Bartlett would ever dream of, with all the messaging boards and the technologies get in there, and that alone I think is setting Bartlett apart because we're one of the first suburbs to get this state-of-the-art building.
We are probably the first to have a building like that. And so all the Shelby County and some of the other places are going to model theirs from ours. And we plan on opening it May 1st. The dispatch calls out of there. And we're going to have a grand opening. We're very excited, Mayor.
Hey, Chief, just share something for a minute folks may not know out there. What's one thing that sets, we talk about setting Bartlett apart from other places around there. So when you talk about apprehending somebody and putting them in jail in the amount of time that they're in the jail, what's different in Bartlett than any of the other jails other than 201 Bartlett?
Well, our jail is a Type 1 facility, and so we're able to house prisoners in our jail for $11.29, and so we're able to get officers to be able to transport to our jail facility where they don't have to take anybody downtown. And so it keeps our officers on the streets where they need to be in order to keep our community safe.
Man. So those may have seen these electronic message boards around town. It tells you, hey, you are speeding. And it seems like they're everywhere. They're everywhere, Chief. Can you tell us what other equipment that's been added to the workforce and how it was purchased?
Yes, sir. Last year we were able to get a grant from the governor's office, $1.7 million, which is able to add to our city budget, which really helps out. Through that, we were able to get digital forensics added to our department, a mobile command center, a truck to pull that command center. We're able to get portable traffic lights, portable stop signs, and these are very important when it comes to disasters and events that we're having, more weather events and things that we're seeing in our city that we need to communicate and do things. I think another thing that we're able to get, Mayor, is Bartlett Connect.
Yeah.
That's something that we're able to send out mass messages to our community and give out city alerts when things are happening. And we need to make sure that everybody's signing up for that. You know, you can go to our website, to the police department page, and you can sign up for Bartlett Connect, and we'll send out alerts when things happen, and we need to communicate. Communicate's the key when things happen, Mayor. So
that communication, you can filter that if you just want to know when bad storms are coming in the area. It can be as depth as you want it to be, or as little as you want it to be. So that's good news. I really like the idea of our police officers having the latest and the greatest. So I think you noticed one of the little storms we just recently had. It was on social media there. We actually had a portable traffic light that's out there that would operate. Again, that takes an officer off the street. Keeps an officer from standing there directing traffic and puts them back in there. So when you see that blinking four-way stop sign that's on a two-wheel trailer out there, please don't run over it.
we'd appreciate that, Mayor.
I really like how Bartlett cares and invests into the employees' health and well-being here in Bartlett. Rumor is that there's a first responders gym in and around the police department. Can you tell us what that's about?
Oh, yes, sir. You know, we have a great relationship with our fire department. We do a lot of things together, right, Chief? We, policemen don't like you to invade their space, Chief, but we appreciate it. Nah, we do a lot of competitions throughout the year. They beat us in a cooking contest over in Bartlett Celebration. We beat them in the rib eating contest. Me and the chief had a contest back here. We thought we were going to have a walkout song, Mayor.
Well, we can create one.
And he wanted to walk out to Show Me Your Fire Truck from Backdraft. And I wanted to come out to Bad Boys from Cops. But I'm glad. No, you know, me and Chief Gaylor, we love our employees, and we have some of the best, and we want to keep them healthy, not only mentally and spiritually, but we want to keep them healthy physically. So we were able to come to you last year and say we wanted to try to come together and have a gym just solely for first responders that they could come to 24/7. They'd have total access to it, and that's what we were able to accomplish. We have a 1,500 square foot gym across the street in our complex that's behind the gate, right next to our dispatch center, and it has ellipticals, it has treadmills, it has row machines, it has free weights, it has really everything that you need in order for them to stay healthy and in shape. And that's really what we want. We want them to be healthy and in shape. And speaking of that, Mayor, May 3rd, the Bartlett Police Foundation is going to have a 5K race right outside these doors out here, and we want you to sign up. You can come and run the race, do the obstacle course. You can even pull our MRAP.
Oh.
Yeah, our SWAT MRAP, and we'll see how far you can pull that thing. And,
It's pretty heavy.
You know, that's a good cause. Last year they raised $40,000 for cops, and that money goes to families of fallen officers. So we encourage you to do that. Yes, sir.
Again, giving back to the community, and if they wanted to sign up for that race, Jeff, you want to tell them how they could do that?
Yeah, so you can go to the Bartlett Police Department Facebook page, and there's a website on there, or you can go to the Bartlett Foundation website, and you can do that too.
Chief Gately, we said how long Chief Cox is here. How long have you been with the Bartlett Fire Department?
I've been with the Bartlett Fire Department for 25 years.
25 years. So you've seen many changes over this past 20 years. Can you tell me about some of those new additions?
Yes, sir. There's been quite a few changes since I got on in 2000, but three most recently really stand out to the delivery of services that we provide. One is that we added a fire inspector to the fire marshal's office, and then we added a training lieutenant to the training division, and each were pretty much undersized. People working really hard over the years to fill gaps, but these positions are extremely important. They enhance not only our ability in the community to interact with businesses. The fire inspector is more of like a liaison. You know, he does inspect, but he's also kind of a teammate or an advocate for these businesses. Our training lieutenant is impressive. He works with our recruit classes. Bartlett does their own recruit classes. We don't farm out our men and women to other departments or state facilities to teach. So we do that all in-house. But one of the things we're really, really proud of is our SWAT medics. Like I said, Chief Cox talked about, we're really close with our police department, and our men and women for a long time have wanted to work alongside their SWAT team to be there in the event that the river needed. So just to see all these things come to fruition has been a big part of this administration.
You know, you always hear about staying competitive and with salaries and pay. So how's our Bartlett Fire Department doing in comparison to other local communities?
Salaries are always a moving target, and our department's doing well. It's something we've had to reevaluate year after year, and you'll hear this in 2 weeks when we meet for our budget meeting. So I want to slide that in. But we do well.
Just say yes, right?
Just say yes. Just say yes. But we really do. We have great men and women, and you know, they're compensated fairly, and they deserve to be continued to be paid fairly. And you want to keep talent, especially the talent that you invest in. They're hometown proud. You know, we possibly got them when they were young, and they're extremely valuable not only to us but to other departments. And we want to do that. So we're competitive. We want to remain competitive. But one of the things that Bartlett does that we take great pride in is we like to call it hire the heart, train the hands, and we want good young men and women. We don't necessarily care how certified you are, but we want people that are committed to serve. You know, we don't want people to show up at your house or your potential disaster with really just a careless attitude. We want people that care. We want people potentially, you know, that came from Bartlett High School or other suburbs that kind of understand how we feel and how we think about our community. And we've been able to do that. Chief Webster calls it a farm system, but we do. We hire at 18 years old if they meet the criteria and have the characteristics and qualities of individuals we're looking for. So we're extremely picky in that, and it's worked out really well so far.
I'll attest to that. You know, I think the last class of recruits that we graduated was 8. And I know when they came to my office, we had 8 really bright, good-looking young men. And I said, you know, just be honest with me. Can you tell me why you want to be a fireman and why you choose Bartlett? Well, all the kids, but I think one, grew up around this community. It's when I asked the question, why do you want to be a Bartlett fireman? You know what the answer was? He said, I just want to serve. I just want to serve. I want to make a difference in our community. But we've got good men coming up. Good people, doing their job, doing the right job for the right reasons. And Chief, I'd like to say that one of the things that we noticed, you may notice around there, that we have two new ambulances. One's on the ground and running. One's coming up here next week, and we got a piece of fire equipment ordered that should be here soon. We've been hearing that for 2.5 years, but anyway, it should be coming soon. And so. Not only it's important to get the right people, doing the right job for the right reasons, either in the police or in the fire, but put them in the right piece of equipment. And Chief, could you just share with me, because I was puzzled when you talk about what does a fire truck cost and what does an ambulance cost?
The platform that we ordered a few years ago was $1.6 million empty, and it's 1.9 furnished. An ambulance is about $280,000 empty and about $400,000 with all the equipment. So the fire truck's 20 years old, is typically the frontline lifespan. And then after that, they go into reserve. So we try to take care of our equipment because we want it to last and to be safe.
So the piece of equipment they're replacing, it goes into secondary equipment. And it's we keep the average, how long we keep an ambulance or a fire truck?
Ambulances average about 16 years. They cycle out of primary after about 10 years, but it really depends on the overall condition, how often it's going to the shop. We look at maintenance records and try to stay on top of that. There's some things worth replacing that cost a lot to repair. Fire trucks, we take good care of that. We have a great shop. Our men and women check their equipment in, so we try to preserve it. You know, we want to act like it's ours personally and not just a job or a business, and our men and women do a great job doing that.
So that's just one piece of the pie. You heard these numbers here, and that's a one-time capital expense, but the real expense is supplying the men that serve those every day, 3 shifts, 24 hours a day. And I'm very grateful that the previous leadership had thought enough about our community that we deserve to have our own ambulance service, and we didn't contract it out with some third party. And you may not think about it until you have to make that call. And it's your mom and dad, your brother or sister, or your son or daughter out there. And we want to make sure when they show up, they're equipped with the best, and we got the best and the brightest waiting on your family. So thank you. And as we wrap this up and say good night for Jeff go looking for his prize, and along with Carrie, can we not give a big round of thanks and gratitude to our police and fire chief? Thank y'all. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Mr. Jim, I think we got 3 characters coming up they'd like to hear about.
Oh, yes, sir. Our last 3 guests, Mr. Mayor. Let's welcome our Director of Parks and Recreation, the Paul Wright. Also, our Director for Community Relations, Debbie Gelano, and the Chief Communications Director for our fair city of Bartlett, Tennessee, Todd Halford.
Johnny Red Shoes there. That'll work. That'll work. I just got one question before we get started. Did y'all all go to the same clothing store?
We actually get a bulk discount.
Yeah.
So
You know, we do so many events together during the year. We just kind of, I guess we think alike now.
It just happens.
Hey. So, I know there's been a lot of upgrades to what's been happening in our city parks, Paul. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the highlights at Shadowlawn Park and Brewer-Dixon Park?
Yes, so we're in the process now of upgrading Dixon Brewer Park, which is located right next to our senior center and across from the high school. Thanks to grant money through the county and through HUD, we're upgrading and providing a brand new restroom facility there. We used to joke within our department that the only thing that was holding up the previous building was all the termites that were holding hands. So thanks to the grant monies, we're building that new structure, brand new ADA compliant walkways and parking area, and also a brand new playground structure. We're in the final phases of finishing that project within the next 3 to 4 weeks. We should be opening that up and having a ribbon cutting and dedication. So Dixon Brewer's in process, and then Shadowlawn Park, which is one of the oldest parks within our system, we achieved a grant last year for $750,000, and we're going to be giving that a facelift starting this summer. Also replacing that structure, the existing restroom and concession building is over 50 years of age, so we're going to replace that with a brand new state-of-the-art structure. Also ADA compliant pathways. We're going to resurface the existing parking lot, expand the parking areas. As many people who use that park know, we've got pickleball going on there, the Little League, we're right next to the academy, and they've got an athletics field, so the current parking is not sufficient, so we'll expand and add parking, and then also a brand new playground as well.
And, give me applause. what's left to do over there?
Well, that's not all that's left. So there is actually a basketball facility. We're not actually even touching the baseball fields within this phase. So we're going to give most of the infrastructure a brand new facelift there, but there's still some things to do. When you've got 29 parks and over 1,000 acres of land to care for, there's always something to do.
Always something. Many of you may notice that over the past several years here, we've been making an attempt to go around town to all of our parks and make sure our restrooms are up to ADA compliance. We started 3 or 4 years ago with Freeman Park. In the Shadow Lawn Park renovation here will be the next to the last renovation. I think we only have one more facility, which is Freeman Smith, that will be in the next cycle there. So hopefully y'all avail yourself of your kids and your grandkids here this summer months at the Dixon Brewer. We're really proud of that playground. We're adding some park benches around there, and you don't have to worry about getting bitten by a termite now that you go. So that sounds great. So what do we have in store for the future of Bartlett's parks? And I still want to iterate. Is there 29? Is that the right number?
29 is the correct number. That is right. Like I said, over 1,000 acres of land, 230 acres of green belts. In terms of what's next for us, so last year we completed our update of our master plan. So that plan evaluates all of our parks, our facilities, our programming, and gets in touch with the citizens. So we did some citizen listening sessions, had surveys that we put out. We put all that together into a 10-year strategic plan to really guide where we're going as a department for the next 10-year period. And so we've got a emphasis now on addressing all of our infrastructure. We've got aging playgrounds, aging facilities. So that's our primary emphasis, but we're trying to balance that also with the additional needs from the community in terms of new amenities. So we're pursuing that. We're looking for grants to obviously fund those. And another key component that we're pursuing is what's called accreditation for our agency. So we're big on acronyms in the Parks and Rec, so we're going to pursue what's called CAPRA accreditation. So CAPRA is Commission for Accreditation of Parks and Recreation Agencies. And so what that means is that when we achieve accreditation, it proves that we abide by all of the best practices within Parks and Recreation. So we're doing the things the right way, we're being efficient with the use of our resources, and we're listening to the citizens, allowing them to provide feedback and input and help guide where we're going as a department. So additional benefits beyond that is that puts us at the top of the stack for any grant applications that we put in the future. So that adds, again, to all the additional things that we're able to accomplish because we're stretching all of our dollars that much further.
So quite simply, that means that we're being prudent with the dollars we spend. The taxpayer dollars aren't paying for a slide where they really want to swing.
That's correct.
That's pretty cool, and so we're very happy about that. So while we're on the subject of parks, we've been hosting a whole lot of events in our beautiful parks. And what are some of the events that we've hosted in the last year of what we've and how we've had great success last year, and maybe what are we going to? People are asking, are we going to return any of those? So, Miss Debbie, you want to share what's coming up and where we've been and what's new in 2025?
Well, last year we were all sitting in. Last year we had the solar eclipse, so we thought, what can we do to enhance this event? Because the person who makes all these 3D glasses happens to be a Bartlett business. So from that event, which was on a Monday, we had over 1,000 people show up, and we just had some acoustic sound playing. So from that came Food Truck Friday, Bartlett Live, and all those different events. So we're going to enhance those events some, and Todd will tell you a little bit about those in a little bit. But we also have enhanced some of the major city events that we do. We love our Parks Department. We have the best Parks Maintenance Department ever, because we could not do these special events that we do without them. And Public Works helps too, and police and fire. So we have a great team that helps us do, because it takes a lot to do a major city event. So some of the ones that we're going to do this year is the fishing rodeo. So we have over 300 kids fishing at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. And that does not include their parents, their grandparents, their aunts and uncles and all that. So they fish right here at Appling Lake, so that's one of our major events. And then our 4th of July fireworks, which is on July the 3rd, and we have over 10,000 people in this area with that, so we're excited about that. And then we do the festival. So those are some of our major events, and then we brought back the Christmas parade 2 years ago, and we have a brand new route. I think our citizens love the route because instead of it being on a major street now where you could get into it in all different ways and it was a police nightmare, we kind of brought the parade to the neighborhoods, and I think our citizens really enjoy that. So we're taking a lot of the things that we learned last year, we're enhancing the ones we've already did, and we're just excited about it. So there's lots to come. Make sure don't ever say there's nothing to do in Bartlett in the summer, because there's a lot to do in Bartlett in the summer.
Who won the best float award for the Christmas parade?
That
Do you
was
remember
nice.
who won the Christmas
Oh my
float?
gosh, who won the Christmas parade? I think it was Parks.
It was Parks.
Oh my God, sorry, please. Yes.
Oh, man. It just seems like all the records were set. I see everything we did from the fireworks to the parade to the fall festival, our numbers was up, and people are participating and engaging, and even the Rec Rover. We mention Rec Rover?
I forgot the Rec
We
Rover.
didn't talk about the Rec Rover, did we? So Rec Rover is a new initiative that we launched last year. We have repurposed an old equipment trailer, essentially, that was just sitting and storing tables and chairs for special events, believe it or not. Imagine that. So we repurposed it. We put a wrap on it. We got a sponsor from Jan Jones. And that Rover goes around from all the various neighborhood parks, and we'll show up for a pop-up event with inflatables or arts and crafts. We'll have cornhole set up, ladder ball, yard games, and we'll be showing up at the end of the month to an event at
The Crawfish Festival.
Crawfish Fest,
Yeah,
that's
so we
right.
have a new event in Bartlett, a Crawfish Festival. So if you like crawfish, it's March 29th. And we're excited about that. We're working with Ragin' Cajun. And it's just something that came out of the survey. We wanted a spring event, and this is what's happening. Hey, Todd, who's the entertainment? Do you
For the
remember?
Crawfish Festival? I didn't know if you were going to let me talk.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
You're
just sit over
always
here patiently,
tall,
but
Todd.
I figured I'd go ahead. Well, so the Crawfish Festival, it's going to be Isabella and Sebastian, who actually played the South by Southwest Festival today. Mighty Souls and Hope Claiborne and Soul Scrimmage will be there for the Crawfish Festival.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey, Todd, you want to share how we think that a lot of these, we're getting great attendances and how we're getting the word out? Share some stuff about that.
Absolutely. Social media. Over the last year, our social media, I mean, it's really done well. We've really done well. We've doubled our Facebook following. We've quadrupled our Instagram following. When you look at all the city platforms, we've got over 200,000 followers. And we are reaching an average of 7 million people a month just on social media.
7 million a month?
7 million a month.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Is it?
7 million.
That's one of the things that we achieved this last year is we felt like that the city of Bartlett ought to be able to control the narrative of what's happening in our town and put out the facts of what and when coming direct from the city. And we made a new position called Chief Information Officer. And I'm going to give you 2 guesses to guess who that is. And so we're very thankful. A lot of that information that you receive is relevant. It's on time. And if you hang out on some of the social media pages, please get on there and you'll see if you got a question, more than likely we'll have it answered there very, very quickly. And so I want to thank Todd for the good job he's been doing. And those social media platforms, a lot of those, he has been here almost a year now, and he's doubled and tripled a lot of those numbers right there. So we're trying to be relevant, we're trying to be transparent, and trying to make sure that you stay informed and engaged. And we want to thank Debbie for the great job. She's been here many years leading our special events. And we did say goodbye 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, to Shane Crispell. She did a great job for all those many years of leading us. And I'm telling you, the future looks really bright with Paul and Mr. Jimbo back there in the helms of leading our Parks Department. And I'm telling you, it's not a better time to be in the city of Bartlett around these special events, what's going on and what's happening in our Parks Department. And this is the last of our guests. And can you give these guests a great big thank you? Well, all I can say, folks, I'm out of cards. And In closing tonight, Brad thinks that's a joke. We're not going to pass an offering plate. Pastor John, we probably won't to, but I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. And I mean that from my heart. There's a lot of places you could be tonight. Chose to come here. We've given you the highlights and accomplishments that we made last year and given you a glimpse of what's coming. Our main goal for the city of Bartlett is to provide the best possible service for our citizens. Let me give you a few examples. When it comes to crime, there was an individual who had been going around the county and robbing several stores in our community. Was getting away with it. Been getting away with it for some time. Then he chose to come over into Bartlett. Mistake. He got by with it one time, but he didn't get by with it the second time. Simply because we had two sergeants, Sergeant Kevin Martin, Sergeant Kevin DeWitt. They actually did detective work. Called some of the other communities that this individual had been robbing 6 weeks, 8 weeks after these occurrences occurred, and they couldn't provide no data at all. These two detectives, you see right here, we just honored them in my office the other day. They figured it out. It was a cold night. Too cold to probably be walking down the street, but they couldn't figure out. Don't add up. How did he get there? How did he leave? It's so cold. Began to look at some of the camera data, but they noticed this little car come across there. It had a blue light on the dashboard. It said Uber. So they tracked down the tag of the Uber driver. Knocked on the Uber driver's door. It said, you made a call at this date, at this time. Who did you get? He said, well, his name was Joe Smith. Where did you carry Joe Smith? He said, we carried him to this address. So then these detectives and sergeants went over there, knocked on that door. Joe Smith knew he was had. And he not only confessed to doing the 2 stores here in Bartlett, actually 1 store 2 times, but he confessed that he had robbed those other 10 stores in suburban county. Now that's the type of people that I'm talking about, what sets this community apart. Let me tell you another story. We had the largest fire the city of Bartlett has ever seen last fall. It was out at Quail Ridge Apartments. Many of you have probably seen it on the news. You read about it in the paper. We had every piece of equipment that we had on that scene. We actually had to get help from Shelby County. I think we had a pumper from Shelby County. And that, again, it speaks volume to our police, our fire chief, that we have those mutual aid agreements. And then we had our friends in Germantown had to also help us. That's how big that fire was. When they showed up, that thing went up like a matchbox. When they showed up, flames were out the roof. They had residents that was on the 2nd floor that was trapped, that they was looking to jump off. And we had these 2 officers, Jeremy Carver with the Bartlett Fire Department and Rob Reed with the Bartlett Police Department, was there ready to catch them and bring every one of them to safety. Just one of the, just 2 that I want to recognize of the many heroes that we had that day. And some of you may argue too, when you see what we do for our employees, when we begin to give them raises and all. I tell you what, when you're the person on that 2nd floor and death is at your back door, you want somebody happy with their job. ready to catch you. We've got that. You know, one of the things that I sat back and looked at this terrible thing that happened that really made David Parsons' heart and many of your hearts really thump is I love the way our city chaplain, Johnny Bird, got together with the local churches. And our local churches come together. There was an outpouring from this community that there was more than enough for clothing and food and lodging. In fact, this community gave so much money that was able to go back and give them cash money to help make some ends meet. When we talk about hometown proud, when we talk about community, folks, that's where the rubber meets the road. Let me tell you another story. Les Boyle, we recognized, one day this week. Les drives one of those big trucks that's got the claw on it that can pick up anything you put out there, a tree that big or whatever, and put it in the back of his truck. Les is going down through the neighborhood and picking up some trash. And he looked, driving down the road, and there was an elderly man in a walker trying to get his trash receptacle there. And Les did not pass him by. He stopped. And he got out. He says, "Let me help you." He said, "Well, don't you need to be running that?" He says, "No, sir." And he carried his trash receptacle back to the house for this elderly man. The elderly man called City Hall. I don't know who that guy was, but he had a real servant's heart. And he says, "Can y'all just let somebody know what that meant to me?" He could have easily drove by, because I'm sure Matt was on him about, you got to get your route completed. But did he pass him by? No. Matt Crenshaw and Aaron back there and that whole back row of those in Public Works, they remind me daily. In fact, they brought me a coffee cup that said, "Public Works, the backbone of the city." I don't know how many years Matt's got now. He's made 30 years. He started out digging ditches. Doing whatever we asked him to do. Fixing water pipes, water lines. And I'm proud to say that most of the directors we have come up with within. That's what Matt is now. I could talk about Mr. Steve Stones out here that started in our jail system. They wouldn't let him be a policeman. They said, "You're going to be a jailer first." He said, "That's okay." He worked his way up in the jails, got in the police department, worked his way all the way up to the next to the top. Was assistant chief in our police department. And now he's our CAO. And I'm going to tell you now, that young man, pound for pound, inch for inch, I wouldn't trade him for nobody else. We just got information from Younger and Associates that Bartlett, Tennessee is primed and ready for our Bartlett family to continue to grow. And when it comes to business, Bartlett is already a powerhouse. This study that we got made the point that with all the Blue Oval and the impact of Blue Oval coming in there, the community that would probably see the greatest increase in population is Bartlett, because of the people it has there, because of the services that we have, because of our community hospital, because of its fire department, because of its police department, because of its ambulance services, because of its great schools, and more importantly, as Dr. Stevens says, it's a great place to be. Our industrial park is home to several international companies. With Dr. John Threadgill was sharing that it's $8.3 billion. I'm going to drive that point home again. You put everybody else together, and there's more generated in Bartlett than all those communities combined. They see the value of being in Bartlett. We are a force in this region when it comes to business, and we are going to continue to grow. That's why we went out with Innovation Park. Another thing you may want to talk about, it's very important to you. Have many of y'all got towns you grew up in and you drive through them and they look much like they did 50 years ago? and you go to the McDonald's and everybody's getting a senior discount? New Zaxby's that was just down the street, that was just built down there. If you look across the street, many of you older folks with the gray hair can remember the old McLemore's there, next to Mama's Barbecue, and what it looked like. We went to the McLemore family and said, what can we do to help you? So we went through the Bartlett Station Commission, extended our boundaries down there, and through a matching grant we gave them, you drive by there today, and I promise you, it looks like a vibrant place that you want to put a vibrant business that's relative to our Bartlett community in there. And just think about that. I had an individual that owned a piece of property across the street, came in the office, and he was sitting there talking to me. He said, there seems like there's so much improvement going on in Bartlett. I feel like I'm lacking and behind. I said, so really? He said, yes. He says, after the Bank of Bartlett, the Bird family spent well over $2 million renovating the facade and inside that building because they recognized this is home for the Bird family. And whatever investment we make in our hometown is a good one. You move on down to the end of the street in the West End, one of the old staple houses went up for sale. It was a steakhouse. It was called Side Porch. 3 families stepped up and said, we're going to fill that gap because we don't want to see it empty. We don't only want to not see it empty. The Side Porch restaurant now has a side porch. Let's not forget the Business Incubator Project, which Alderman David Rees is helping to guide and bring that entrepreneurial spirit and energy to our city of Bartlett, because those small businesses are thriving and doing well. And we always say in the building business, rooftops are where jobs go home. We're already seeing a surge and an interest in our builder community, and we're delivering a variety of housing options for our families, for our young professionals, for our retirees, and all who want to come to Bartlett. So all I want to say is that here in Bartlett, we're family. We're hometown proud. I want to say thank you for everybody coming out and not spending your time with us, but investing your time with us. I want to thank you for your engagement. I want to thank you for your energy. I want to thank you for your dedication to our hometown Bartlett. This is our time. And together, we're going to make this Bartlett Vision 2030 not just a plan, but a reality. God bless Bartlett. God bless America. And let's go to work. Thank you.
Out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum.